Hey everybody, how's it going? Steve here with a handful of new Nintendo Switch 2 news updates. It turns out having a direct today about Kirby Air Riders did not stop third parties from announcing a whole slew of other news about their games coming to the Switch 2. So let's go ahead and start with one of the smaller stories, and that is that we are getting a new Bluey game. Bluey is coming to the Nintendo Switch 2 in 2026. It is a new game penned by the author of the series, so maybe possibly canon if you're really into Bluey lore, or maybe you have kids who are super into Bluey. I know John's kids were really into it, but that is coming in 2026. It looks like it might have a hand-drawn art aesthetic, so kind of cool if you're into Bluey, but there are much bigger stories out there today. Of course, the big one we have is that Elden Ring Tarnished Edition has been delayed into 2026, and FromSoft has basically said that they're using this time to further improve the performance of the game on the Switch 2. When we checked it out at both PAX and Gamescom, there were definitely issues with the frame rate. IGN also agreed with us on that. I've heard from people who went to Tokyo Game Show that they saw improvement in that build there, though I haven't seen any independent reporting on it myself, so I can't verify that or, really debunk it in any way. It sounds like the game is improving, and obviously FromSoft wants some additional time to do that. So kudos to them. Delayed games tend to get better rather than worse. So we'll see what happens when the game eventually releases next year, but I think this is a good delay. I think this is something that needed to happen because Elden Ring just frankly didn't look great the last time I played it. And I would hope that it would get up to at least PS4 levels of performance. Obviously, there's a lot that they could do to further optimize that game, whether they want to leverage DLSS or what have you in order to kind of get things up higher in terms of frame rate and consistency. Elden Ring is a game that demands good timing, especially in combat. So anything they can do to get it closer to 60 FPS is a good thing in my opinion. So we'll just have to see what happens though. I think this is a good sign for the game. Now, outside of Elden Ring, we also had a couple of new game announcements. One we knew about and one we definitely didn't. The one we knew about being Assassin's Creed Shadows. This had leaked via a French retailer. We discussed that on the Week in Nintendo a couple of episodes back, but now we have proper confirmation from Ubisoft that the game is coming, and coming a lot sooner than I think a lot of people expected, being December 2nd. So we're already almost in November. December isn't that far away. This is just a couple of days before Metroid Prime 4, which is an interesting release timing for this game. But we've seen Ubisoft doing some pretty incredible stuff with the Nintendo Switch 2, specifically in Star Wars Outlaws. I've got some footage up that Ubisoft has released of the Switch 2 version, but just note that this is looking bad due to compression. Like, we had to pull it off of, where they uploaded it. So the game will almost certainly look better than this. Ubisoft has already released some stills from the Switch 2 version that look pretty phenomenal. But if you want to see what Ubisoft is doing from a technical perspective, well, you can do that for free now because Star Wars Outlaws has a demo available on the Switch 2, and this is a game that just gets more impressive every time I take a look at it. Ubisoft wasn't content with the way it looked at release, which was pretty dang impressive. They've continued to refine and improve the visual presentation on Star Wars Outlaws, having released a new patch just, I think a few days ago as of the publication of this video, and that's what's in the demo. So you can take a look at the game with ray tracing, with DLSS enabled, and kind of see the wizardry that's going on from Ubisoft in terms of this game, which leads me to be pretty optimistic about the Switch 2 version of Assassin's Creed Shadows, but we don't have long to wait to find out. As far as Switch 2 features go, Ubisoft has announced that they have cross-save, meaning that if you're playing the game on PC or PS5 or wherever you might be playing it, you can just take that save over. That same system exists in Star Wars Outlaws, so very cool to see Ubisoft kind of embracing the portability of the Switch 2 for players who might want to double dip. The other thing is that they mentioned some touchscreen menu functionality, which I'm not all that excited about. Cool that they're utilizing it in some way, but not really necessary. I think that this is going to be a game that will add to the experience if you already have it, but I'm not really looking forward to those touchscreen controls. And finally, probably the biggest surprise of the news cycle today is that Fallout 4 Anniversary Edition is coming to the Switch 2 via Bethesda, of course. They just kind of dropped a teaser trailer with a 2026 date. No real gameplay footage, just an announcement here, but obviously this is a cool announcement. I played a little bit of Fallout 4 back on the Xbox. I really enjoyed it, and I would love to get further into the game. We don't know if it'll have cross-save or anything like that. I kind of suspect it won't, because Fallout 4 is an older game, meaning that if you already started playing it somewhere else, you've probably finished it. But it's a really cool announcement nonetheless. I hope we see it use some of the Switch 2's unique capabilities, maybe like the touchscreen for VATS or something like that. But we don't really have any information on the game yet other than that it is coming. So that is the news for today. We've got Bluey coming to the Switch 2 if you're into that kind of thing. Elden Ring delayed into 2026. Assassin's Creed Shadows coming to the Switch 2. A new demo for Star Wars Outlaws if you want to see the tech that's going on under the hood at Ubisoft. And finally, Fallout 4. For me personally, I think the delay is a good thing. I'm happy that we will get a better version of Elden Ring as a result when it does eventually drop on the Switch 2 next year. Fallout 4 is a huge surprise, and I'm kind of excited to see what Ubisoft manages to do with the much bigger open world of Assassin's Creed Shadows on the Switch 2. But that's going to do it for us for today. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe to GVG for all things Switch 2 and ring that notification bell to be the first to know each time a new video goes up. Thanks again, and I will see you next time.